So it's towards the end of January. It's difficult for a gardener not to think about sowing some seed. So today we're going to be sowing some brassicas. Got some cabbage, some cauliflower in mind, and aquaculture Claudia broad beans. We'll get them sown up today. Little sowing makes a big difference in terms of harvests in spring and into summer. I'll talk about getting those brassicas in. So a few brassicas today. It's the end of January, starting getting towards into February now. So we'll get some seeds sown. I'm not going to take up a great. We'll just use one seed tray, I think, today. We'll get that filled up. We'll just fill the potting tray about halfway up. I like these because these have got quite nice lids on, and they are quite good for spring. Well, not even spring, we're still technically in winter sowing, just to try and get the brassicas off the ground. Quite hardy, so you won't struggle too much. Again, I like to use the other trays just to firm it down a bit. And my pending seed sowing method, pencil or a offcut of bamboo cane, and just get it into the soil just to get a little furrow. I'm going to do 2 different types of brassicas. Right, so we're going to go for all the year round. Collie, just bog standard, nice hardy cauliflower. We want a few just to germinate nicely. Just a very gentle sowing, sorry, very sparse sowing of those. Just okay. Get those back in the packet. Then we'll move on to the cabbage. Yep, we'll sow some cabbage now. Golden acre. It says sowing between February and May, harvest June to October, so it should be a really quick growing cabbage, hopefully. We'll use a little harvesting knife to open this. This is an Opinel French knife. Sort of a dull edge on one side and a sharp edge on the inside. Quite good for harvesting lettuce. And so we'll get this one sown. Golden Acre Primo 2. There's loads of seed in that packet. In sowing. Now these will germinate somewhere between 13 to 15 degrees centigrade, so we'll need to get these on a windowsill in the house to get them germinated, because even with the greenhouse being covered and providing some element of protection, it won't actually probably germinate. So we'll just get a light dusting of compost just on the top there. Nothing too big and clumpy if we can try and avoid it. And I know these are a bit of a gimmick with sort of, gardeners' Christmas and birthday presents, but this tool's actually quite handy in the hole. So I just like to use those on my sowing. That's nicely covered those 2 rows. Mustn't forget, front row cauliflower, back row cabbage. So we'll get those labelled up now. And as I say, I like these trays because they have quite neat lids to them. So the compost's quite moist, so we don't need to worry too much about watering at this stage, but we'll keep an eye on it. Keep the vent open, and we'll get that inside the house to germinate. So if you've liked looking at the sowings for brassicas today, we're grateful if you'd press the thumbs up button. If you press that thumbs up button there, I can guarantee that your cabbages will heart up by 325% extra this year. Wouldn't think that, would you? But just press the button and it will happen. Let's get the beans in. Now these trays are great for broad beans, but sweet corn and the like. But I have to say they don't last a great deal of time before they do actually start to split. So try and keep some to one side, and also the sort of base trays do crack, obviously with the weight of compost. So it might not be such a bad idea to have a relatively lightweight compost mix for sort of your bigger seeded plants, your French beans, sweet corn, etc. Make sure there's no harbouring some spiders, but there's no slugs or snails. There's a lot of split ones here. That's the trouble with these thinner plastic pots. They are very fragile, are liable to split on you. Lose these ones up. Yes, they are thin and broken and split, but let's reuse and recycle. Right, I'm going to get these filled up, and we'll see you in a minute when we've got them all in. By no means even. See where that gets us. Push down. So I'd like to hear what you've got in mind for sowing for January. What you're planting, what are you sowing? Set out your comments under the video below. Tell us what you're planting and sowing right now in January. Also vitally important when sowing in winter, spring planting out, is a cup of tea. Cheers, that's the right colour you want. Stand a spoon up in that. Cheers. To give you an idea how sharp that knife is, just for getting those in. Let's get the beans in. These are Aquadulture Claudia. A few people have mentioned how they have not survived the very cold temperatures. So we're going to get these in now. A nice deep side of the dibber. I think we'll go for one in each pot. For a nice deep hole. There's the seed. And if these germinate and we get them to grow, plant them out, the idea will be to do another sowing along the same line to get a bit of a succession. I like to, when I sow something out I've done in a pot, I like to try and get at least one other line at the same time sown in the ground at the plot with the planting out, just to try and get, like I say, some succession and follow on crop, so you get a bit of a staggered harvest. Just beware, obviously, you might have some, again, little baby tools do come in handy. Middle over, now about an inch deep, so they're quite close to the bottom of the pot. There we go. They'll just go straight out into the little mini greenhouse and see if they germinate. So thanks for watching along today as we've sown some brassicas and Aquadulcia Claudia broad beans. It might be cold outside, but it's warm inside, and that helps them germinate. And then you can get them planted out in spring, ready to rocket along. Bit of protection, bit of netting or enviromesh just to keep the pigeons off. Close eye for any slugs or snails, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get some really early brassicas this year. So if you've liked what you've seen today, we're grateful if you'd give the video a thumbs up. If you want to make any comments or suggestions, then type away below. If you want to be notified of the next time we've got a sowing video for the month, then press the subscribe button and you'll get notified. So thanks for watching along today. Cheers, bye!